Welcome to the 90-second show, and today I'm going to be representing through magic the number 92. And you have to understand that magic, okay, it's all about making something out of nothing. And in this case, 9, 1 and 1, 92. But we all know that what that represents. That represents a magical day that happened in the United States of America, 9/11. And where did they get 9/11? Well, they had to put 9/11 together because it has to do with the Kabbalah. The United States was built through witchcraft and the Kabbalah and the alphabet, okay, all this witchcraft. So let's count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 sephirots. The 10 is the missing fruit, so doesn't count, and 11. So let's count that again: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So there you go. That's your 9/11, where this nonsense came from. And we had it happen in September. September, which is represented by the 9, is also means indirectly, set means 7. And 7, we all know, is Zion. It's a tool and a weapon, something made to cut you off, all right? Important. It's also associated to the letter G, which is the beginning of our word God. And if you don't understand this is the witchcraft. This nonsense is made to cut you off, and it's also a weapon. So on September 2001, we have God speaking to us in numbers. As you can see, well, God doesn't speak in numbers. Numbers are a human creation, and as well as the letters in the alphabet is a human creation. So God does not speak out of numbers. And that being said, we know what 2001 means. 2001 means the Father, okay? It means Aleph, Bet. Okay, let's go down here. The Father is composed of the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet and the second letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and this indirectly tells you it's the Aleph Bet, which means father. In other words, the phonetic duality Aleph alphabet. So we have the 1 and the 2 as said, and it all starts with witchcraft. This is how it used to be written before. The witchcraft is there. So let's go back to our 911, all right, where we had our 2 buildings here. And if you looked at them from the top, you can see that they were 2 squares, and that would bring you a word, okay, through gematria. The top of the buildings, looking down from heaven, you would see 4 and 4, which would bring you to the word magic with a K, as K is the 11th letter of the alphabet. And there's a reason for that. K is very important because it represents the beginning of witchcraft. But that being said, it equals magic with a K, all right? So now we go back to the 2 buildings, which had distinct 3 separations. Okay, you could see them from, if you look at the building, you could see 3 distinct separations. So you had 11, 11, and 11, all right? And that equals your 33, which is magic, okay, without the K. If you take the numerical position of the letters inside the alphabet, it would write down magic without the K. So that's your 33. Now, you had building 1 and building 2 indirectly referring to the Father, which is composed of the Aleph Bet. That is the alphabet. Now, you also had the 2 buildings here, which they had 6 sides. Okay, the top, the 4 sides here, and the bottom, that's 6 and 66, brings you back to the nonsense where 66 equals 12, and that's your alphabet, all right, which is the Father. Okay, so all this nonsense was in front of you, but hidden through through witchcraft. Okay, let me bring my little wand here, my letter opener, witchcraft. Okay, so we had a little bit of gematria happen at the beginning here, where you had American Airlines Flight 11 hit the building, right? So again, that was the beginning of magic, and indirectly sort of referring to synchronicity, as A and A equals 11. And this one, 11, it also can indirectly refer to the Hebrew alphabet, as A and A equals the first letter of the alphabet, first letter, so that's 11 and 11. And 11, 11 equals 22. Because you have the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet that came out of the tree of the Kabbalah using the 22 paths inside of the tree here. And 22, this is the same nonsense that brings you the understanding that Jesus is the King of Kings. 11 equals 22, referring to the Aleph-Bet, the alphabet, which is the Father, and the Father's hidden inside the tree here, which was, he was created out of witchcraft. Oh, God. Anyways, this event, this one here, okay, happened on the 254th day of the year. So 2 plus 5 plus 4 equals 11 again. And that's 111 days before the end of the year. Because if you take 254 and add 111, you would have 365. So that's a total year. And there you go. And you know what this means? Do you know what this means? This means witchcraft. All right? God speaks in numbers. And he was telling you that it's witchcraft. That day was a ritual, a human sacrifice ritual, and the Kabbalists knew it was going to happen, and they made it happen. So there you go. That's how this whole nonsense works. Okay, you had witchcraft that was indirectly inside of the building. The building looked like an 11, okay, beginning of witchcraft, and they had 110 floor, okay, 110, well, that's indirectly 11 for the two buildings. That would be 22, the alphabet, and you would have the with the roof 111 floors. That would be also indicating witchcraft, but it's also 33. So you had with the two buildings now, okay, 33, which would be up here, 33. Then you would have the 110 floor. I guess that's where the elevator stopped. 11, that would be your 22, and the two buildings look like an 11, which would be down here. It's very important. 11s are very important to these nonsense people. So there you go. That's your story from 9/11. All right. So inside here we had. Let me do this without some nonsense here. Okay. So they use trickery because the magician is always there. This was deep fake when the deep fake was used against humanity for the first time, not knowing it was deep fake, and you can see there was no impact. As you go in and out, there is no impact. The little plastic bulbs or the lights or the windows weren't shattering. Nothing was happening. It was just a plane going in and out. This was deep fake. All right, so that being said, you were tricked by the magician. And we had the devil there, okay? And the devil appeared again, probably with a little bit of, magic here. He was in the smoke. So you couldn't have the Father, indirectly God, okay, without the devil on that day. And that, my friend, is the witchcraft. Okay, you also had some predictive programming. If you look at some of the things that was predicting the event, you can see on the album of the Supertramp album that they wrote down 9/11 hidden on top of the building here from Super. You can see the 9 and 11, and the orange represents the explosion. So all this was planned ahead by the Kabbalists. Not saying that this band was involved in this, but somebody that did this cover knew very well what was going on. As you can see, it was from an airplane looking down at the Statue of Liberty, which is represented by this little waitress here holding up an orange juice, and you can see the orange, which was also representative of the explosions that day. So there you go. This was all planned way ahead of time by the witchcraft. Okay, so on the new building, okay, which happens to be another one of those nonsense hidden in the structure. If you look from above, you will see, all right, this, okay, from above, from the top. This is, you will have 4 corners and 4 corners, and this is the Islamic star, and that is the word magic hidden inside the building structure itself, and that equals your 44. Now the building is 1,776 feet tall, if I'm not mistaken, and no, that's what they said. And this also equals your alphabet through the magic of witchcraft, the number magic. So 7 plus 7 plus 6 plus 1 equals 21. 21 brings you back to your father here, which is the Aleph Bet. Okay, so here we go down 21, and this is your witchcraft where it started it all, and that's your father. And you can see that 21 can be represented by two symbols here. It could be the moon and the sun, or a circle, which we know is God, and this also starts the word ok, cult. All right, and this is another representation of the father, which is the eye, which is 1, as it has one surface, and the Vesica Pisces, which has 2 angles. So there you go. And that's basically it. So yeah, I just wanted to break down who God is here. This is going to be a little bit ridiculous, but that's the way it works. So God, when you take the number God, you will find that it is equals to a value. That value is 26, which is our alphabet, which is from A to Z, our alphabet. And the half of that, since we know that the Father is written with Aleph and Bet in mind, which is Bet, which is the duality. Okay, so 13 would bring us to M. And the M here, you have to understand, M is composed of 3 angles, and that's your 33. So indirectly through witchcraft, hidden at the bottom of all this, you will find, that looks like an E, whoops, I'm gonna put it together, 33, all right? And 33 is magic without the K, all right? And this is why we have our friend here. Do you see it? Do you see the 33 here from the M? Well, the reason why Mickey Mouse is in the Magic Kingdom and a representative of the Magic Kingdom is because Mickey Mouse is composed of M and M. There you go. That's your Mickey Mouse story for today. And remember, it's all witchcraft. And don't believe it right now that there's some guy going around saying he's the Antichrist. I heard this lately and I said, oh boy, here we go again. The nonsense keeps continuing, keeps coming, and don't believe a word they're saying because it's all witchcraft. Thank you very much.